Morning. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Got a fast-moving market. We're going to take a look at it in a moment. First, our word of the day is Welkin. The sky or heaven. The choir sings so proudly, the sounds lifted to the Welkin. So that is our word of the day. Here we're going to move over to our S&P 500. We got a little slowdown in the internet, but we were all green a little earlier, so the market is exhibiting bear market or sell-off behavior. It is up in the morning, down in the afternoon. That is not the kind of behavior you'd like to see, but we still got a lot of green here. We're just hopeful that things will turn around, but you cannot live on hope. So that is the story there. Let us move on to, if you're concerned about a hard landing, and that's what kind of the market is starting to respond to, this is a great place. If you spent a lifetime building up your wealth, you want to protect it, you want to still grow with the market, but you don't want to lose with the market. This is a great place. It goes up the step, beats index investing by 5% per year. And as you can see, it beats index investing by quite a bit over time. And it gives you a lifetime income. So there you go. On to our charts. Here's the NASDAQ chart. You can see it was up in the morning, kind of helped fill this gap, and is selling off right at the moment. Let us go for our dollar index. Our dollar index continues its move up 0.25%. Silver falling down to 24.5. So we're kind of waiting to see if it'll hit this around 23. I think that would be a place to put on a position. If you don't already have a position, take a look at gold. Gold is pretty flat, trading right around 220, up 0.1, not 1%, but a tenth of a percent. So let us go to our copper index. Copper continues to fall, down 1.43%. Not sure how much further copper is going to fall. And this is uranium. It's fallen quite a bit. We did get out of the smaller uranium play. Got right around here. It just continues to fall down to 150. So let us go to our bond yields. Pause for his, it looks like it's finally reacting. And bond yields are moving up again. We've got two big strong moves in a row. It gapped up this morning. It's up 2%, up to 3.97% interest. We got the same kind of move, almost up 2% on the 20-year, at 3.14% interest. We'll take a look at the VIX. The VIX did sell off quite a bit, pulled back to its 10-day moving average, and has bounced since then. It's off 1.8%. Let's go look at our indexes. S&P 500, like very similar to the NASDAQ, was up earlier and now it is down. Same with the equal weight down 0.21%, got up to its 50-day moving average and turned tail. Let's take a look at the equal weight in the NASDAQ. Got up to its 200-day and has fallen. That is quite a move down. So take one more look at the NASDAQ. It's not quite as bad, but if it does fall under its 200, it starts living down there. That is something to look out for. So we got the small capitalization stocks got up to the 50-day and then turned tail, off 0.75%, and the Dow Jones is doing about the same thing. I think that the algos or the algorithmic computerized trading put in a sell signal right around the 50-day. So that's kind of what's happening. Let's go off to our news. China exports grew at their slowest pace in 3 months in July, missing expectations. Outbound shipments climbed 7% in July from the year earlier, as customs data showed a slower pace of growth than the June's 8.6 rise. Japan's holdings of foreign securities fell by 17 billion in July to 911 billion. Finance Ministry reported on Wednesday. Now we move on to our sector news breakdown in the markets. Trying to adjust my chart here. Not sure why the internet is bugging off. It's a little slow. Airbnb, big loser today. Actually, it was, yeah, down 14.9%. You can barely see it right here. You can see it. This is not the trend that is your friend if you're buying long, but if you're shorting or buying puts, probably is what you're looking for. Just trying to adjust my chart here. So Airbnb. I'm just trying to get back to where we were. Airbnb estimates was 0.86 cents versus estimate of 92 cents, so they miss. Revenues 2.75 billion versus a consensus of 2.73. This is not what people were looking for. Go Grocery Outlet is next on our list. Q2 EPS 25 cents versus estimate of 20. Tried to move up and then sold off after it met its 50-day moving average. Jack in the Box, Q3 EPS $1.65. Tops consensus of $1.51. See if Jack in the Box is too shy to come up. It did get up to its 50-day moving average and turn tail again. So unfortunately, that is what happened in this market. Lyft had a bad report, did not lift its stock at all. It all fell down. Q2 EPS 1 cent versus estimate of 19 cents. And it only fell 16%. That is what is the amazing part, because that is a huge miss. Pause for 1 second. So this is Maple Bear or Instacart. It is moving up here. One of the few stocks it is. It's up quarter EPS 20 cents versus 13-cent estimate. So beat its estimates pretty good. Earnings were down 51%. Earnings surprise of 52%. So that is why that is moving up. Rivian has another troubling quarter with a loss of $1.46 versus consensus of $1.21. So they fall to their 50-day moving average off 6.62%. Big change from where they came public. I believe first day of trading they were at $90. But that isn't uncalled for when you look at IPOs. VF Corporation adjusted EPS 33-cent loss versus 37-cent loss, and that was cheered. It was up 6.75%, 120% earnings loss from the previous quarter. On to Win Casinos, quarter two EPS $1.12 versus estimate $1.14. Tried to move higher, got turned away of its declining 10-day moving average off 1.7%. On to Energy. Devon Energy, $1.41 versus estimate of $1.16. Gaps up. Now it's closing on its low for the day, still up 3.57%. Permian Resources, next on our list. Permian Resources up 1.13. It had gapped up earlier. Quarter two crude oil and total average production 152.9 MB barrels per day versus 338.8 was the estimate. So that is a story with Permian Resources. On to SolarWinds. Will replace Sun Power Corporation in the S&P 500 Small Cap 600, effective prior to the opening on August 9th. Big gap up on that. Shares up about 15%. Sunrun, quarter two revenues, 523.9 million versus 515.2. Gaps up, ends up about 10% for the day. On to financials. Reddit, quarter two revenues, 281.2 million versus estimate of 253.6. So we'll see. It's in a big downtrend, continues moving down. Move my list down a little bit too far. There's a lot of things happening today on the list. So next on the list is Redfin. Redfin quarter two loss of 23 cents versus 26 cents. Still did not cheer people, even though it was an 8% earnings increase, down a little over 9%. On to Toast. We closed out at Toast. I believe it was right on this day. We got out of Toast. It's down about 6% on earnings. EPS came in at 2 cents versus estimate loss of 2 cents, but still not enough to move the needle, so to speak. Next is Upstart. This is our IPO of the day. Upstart, big gap up. It was up much higher earlier, up at, I believe, 46%. It is pulling back a little bit. Earnings were down 383%, but that was a 56% earnings surprise. And now we jump to healthcare. Acadia Pharmaceuticals, quarter two EPS 20 cents versus 18 cents. Their stock is down 20%, even though earnings were up 1,000%. People were expecting much better results. ADC Therapeutics files $300 million mixed security shelf. It's down slightly, 5.81%, below its 200-day moving average. Amgen quarter two EPS $4.97 versus a consensus of $5.01, was below its 50-day moving average at 4.82%. So on to CVS Corp, lowers its full year 24 adjusted EPS to $6.40 to $6.65, off 3.24% on that news. Continuing, DaVita, quarter two adjusted EPS $2.59 versus $2.54, just down slightly, down 1.58%. Earnings were up 50%. On to G1 Therapeutics, entered into a definitive merger agreement under which Pharma Cosmos AS, through its U.S. subsidiary, Pharma Cosmos Therapeutics, will acquire all outstanding shares of G1 Therapeutics common stock for $7.15 a share. So their shares are up 66% today. So that is pretty amazing if you were holding G1 Therapeutics. Pause. Next on our list is Illumina. Illumina is up 4%. Quarter two EPS 36 cents versus estimate 90 cents. You would think that this would be a big sell-off. Their earnings were up 13%. So that must have been some quarter last year. On to Inspire Medical Systems. I believe this is the one for sleep apnea. Quarter two EPS 32 cents versus a loss of 14 cents. And it is up 26%. So that is amazing. Look at all that volume. Kind of clears his previous high here. So you can kind of see how it had declined quite a bit, and now it's cleared that previous high. So on to Massimino Corporation. Quarter two at EPS 86 cents versus 76 cents. Big move up, 13% increase in earnings. Patient monitoring products include a monitor, circuit board, consumables, and reusables. On to Novo Nordisk. Lowered its operating profit guidance 20 to 28%, and they are falling below their 200-day moving average. Finally, on this list is Steris. We'll see if that does in fact come up. Falls to its 20-day moving average, down 2.82%. Quarter one EPS $2.03 versus $1.98. People are looking for much better numbers. On to industrials and materials. Axon, quarter two EPS $1.20 versus $1.02, and they're jumping 18.58% on that news. International flavors and fragrances, quarter two EPS $1.16 versus $1.01. Tried to move higher and then sold off 2.67%. Mosaic, quarter two EPS 54 cents versus 66, falling 1.04%. And then Trex, quarter two EPS 80 cents versus 78 cents. They're up ever so slightly. Their earnings are up 13%. So we're just going to readjust our news here. This is Astera Labs, A-Lab. Quarter two EPS 13 cents versus estimate 11 cents. And they are diving. Looks like it's getting pretty close to a new low. Down 14%. Cirrus Logic, quarter one adjusted EPS $1.12 versus 61 cents. Got a gap up there, 7.53%. Pretty strong volume. Their earnings are up 67% year over year quarter. Fortinet, Q2 EPS 57 cents versus estimate 41 cents. And look at that thing take off, up 25%. Unified Threat Management, I guess they're taking the lead from CrowdStrike, which kind of stepped on their own feet. Super Microcomputer, big sell-off in Super Microcomputer day. They have announced a 10-for-1 stock split. Q4 adjusted EPS 625, below consensus of 807. This is why they're dropping 20% today. Terra, Q2 EPS 7 cents versus estimate of 10 cents. They're down 13% on that news. Kupang, I believe this is a company over in South Korea. Q2 EPS 4 cents, 4-cent loss versus estimate of 1 cent loss. Moved higher earlier, pulled back to the 50-day. So we're settling up 2.61%. Lumen Technologies Q2 adjusted EPS 13-cent loss versus estimate 6 cent. You would think it would go down, but no. This thing is going off like a bandit, up 34%. Provides local long-distance network access to broadband services in rural communities in 37 states. Even though earnings are down 230%, it is moving up. Qualysys, Q2 EPS $1.52 versus $1.32. So it is off 8.67%. That's our news for the day. We are now going to go look at, we are not currently in the market. We are going to look at a couple of stocks that were up 10% or more on 200% increase in volume. PetIQ up 47.8% on 52% increase in earnings. I believe we looked at Exxon in the news, up 18%. Earnings increased 9%. This was our stock of the day. This next one is Alameda-based company, up 12.75% as it just roars through its pivot. So what do we got here? We got a first attempt at a new high, second attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt, a little handle develops, and then earnings, boom, 171%. Verisight, they're doing very similarly, up 24%, earnings up 150%. What do we got here? We got Revolve Group, fashion retailer, up 110% on earnings, up 32% on the stock price for today. And there's our closing bell. Skyline, Champion, breaks into the pivot zone here. Manufactures single and multi-section homes. Home builders up 11.3% today. See if we have anybody else. We got Fortinet we looked at. Got 15 items. Shopify is on the list. We looked at Upstart before. Supernus Pharmaceuticals up 14.5% on earnings increase of 1,000%. Shopify gapped up 17%. It is on its low of the gap up. Earnings up 18.6%. We looked at Upstart. We looked at Inspire Medical Systems. Blackline is up 11.8%. Cornet Digital is up 20%, develops digital printing systems, ink, consumables. Rapid7, I believe this is in security data analytics solutions. It's up 9.93%. And finally, we have ACM Research, manufactures and sells single wafer wet cleaning equipment and products for semiconductor industry. It's up 16%. So that is a story there. We're going to take a look at some things in retrospect. See if this will clear. We're just going to pause this for a second so we can bring up the chart. We threw out everything on our charts when we got the expectation breaker last week. Just felt this was going to get ugly. So Elf Beauty, I guess, is one that in retrospect we wish we had held on. We had the $175 call options. Looks like we got a double bottom here. Here's the first low. Here's the middle of the W pattern, and here's the undercut. And now it's just moved up. It is selling off a little bit today. We'll just have to see what the earnings come out at. I believe the earnings come out tomorrow. Here's the other one. Seems to be doing okay. We do have two puts at 37 shorting. So we'll see if that actually gets us back into the stock or if we just make the money on the put. So that is all of that. We looked at Toast, NVIDIA. Had a little bit of a bounce yesterday, tried to bounce some more, and ran into his 10-day moving average and is sold off. Continues to sell off after hours. See if I can recall a few others that we kind of got rid of. We got rid of Kava, Mediterranean Grill. It's still kind of hanging around the 80 area. The reason we did have a pretty good roll up. We got it into it at 49, but we just wanted to save our portfolio in case there was some worse undercuts. Their earnings are in 15 days. So we looked at a few of those areas right now. App was another one that we cut. Kind of glad we cut that one right around this area. I believe it was 77. It's fallen another $10. So we'll just have to wait to see where that goes. We haven't checked in on CrowdStrike for a while. Just don't know what their potential liability is until the earnings come out. So I'd really kind of stay away from CrowdStrike. And just want to talk a little bit about bear markets. Bear markets are when the stock market goes up in the morning and then sells off in the afternoon. This is pretty much what happens in a bear market. May look good, but some of the bounces occur in the market when people who have been shorting the market and now try to cover their shorts. There may be a few value players out there as well, but that's just not the way we play it. We work on, this is a cup formation. We buy out of these. Sometimes they fail. You just need to protect yourself with stops. So, you know, when you want to get out of it, it'll alleviate all this sort of pain on the way down. Finally, internet is working again. So this is an expectation breaker, which we talked about over here. This was the first warning sign. And thought that might break out here, be an update, but this is a real big expectation breaker. That's what caused us to get out. Then we got a gap out the next day, another gap down, and we don't know if this is over. This has filled the gap. A lot of times things will fill, and then they'll return to the trend that they've been following before. So we can go back on a monthly basis. So we can go back on a daily. This is what it looked like in 2020. You try to come back up over here, pull back a little bit, and then try to come out over here, and then what happened? Another fall. Tried to move up here, just turned and rolled over here. Got a big move here. What's to do? It fills the gap. What's to do over here? It fills the gap. What happens after it fills the gap? It turns and returns to the trend. Right here, falls, and I'm not sure if this is a bottom or not. We can just go forward another day or so. That wasn't quite the bottom. So you want to wait for a positive trend, because you may think something is a bottom, and you may think that this is a bottom. Well, not quite. Here's the bottom. No, that's not the bottom either. Falls below the 200-day. And if the Federal Reserve hadn't started throwing a bunch of helicopter money at this issue, you never know how far this could have gone down. So we got a little bears and bulls fighting one another here towards the bottom. Got another gap down right over here. Fill the gap again, turns tail again. And then we got a big gap up right here. I think this might be kind of the breakout. Sold off here, but it didn't come any lower than the high of the previous day. Got another leg up, crosses the 200-day moving average. And so this is kind of what definitely looks like it hit bottom. And it is broken out now above the 50-day moving average. We got a cup formation here. So that is what you want to avoid, any further damage. Don't try to guess the bottom. Wait for you get institutional support and starts moving in the right direction. So that is all for today with Mornings with Michael, for information and educational purposes only. Try to help you make more money, helping your money work harder than you do. So we hope everybody has a great day, and we'll check in with you tomorrow and see where we take it from here.